Hello everyone, this is Tina. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about component-driven development. We are going to have a very short theory part. Then we are going to have a workshop which implement a to-do list. Okay. So now let's take a look at our first slide. How does React component works? As we mentioned earlier, React is a component-based architecture design, okay, which means the user build encapsulated components that manage their own state and then compose them to make a complex UIs. Each of these components can have any amount of subcomponents, which together with the components are all reusable in other components or even in other applications. So here we there's LinkedIn page. Okay, so when we have LinkedIn page in React, you probably will divide the components of this page, like have a header, have a center will have this part, and then have a suggest part, and we're gonna have set bar. For set bar, probably this can be one component, and each people we viewed can be one component, and each people this part can be also component. So then together it can be entire page work together. Okay. So you can, based on situations, you can divide the page with different components, like for the home, for the network, those, if you want to separate, you can also separate for different components, okay? So the process of component driven development, we have a short word CDD, okay? First thing we do is a component decomposition, which is split interfaces, extracting components once we get the design, okay? Then second phase is we will implement static components. After we split into different components, we will combine them together, implement static, and to achieve a static page, which page looks like when the designer gives to you. Then after that, you will implement dynamic components like a display initial data, data type, data name, and with component to server data. And then you add an interaction with users, like listening for events or things, okay? So this is the process of CDD, and we'll do one by one, okay? The workshop we're going to do is a to-do list, and we are going to, I already have the initial code ready. Let's download. Here in the to-do list, you will have HTML and CSS. We assume that we are getting them from designer, okay? The HTML is going to be look like this is our to-do list, and this is a default to-do list, and you can have a to-dos, add and enter. It's going to add a to-do list here, okay? So next thing we are going to do is here. Next thing is here in index HTML, we also have a CSS. So all our CSS is being included inside here. Let me not using, it's fine, okay. CSS, you're gonna have, this base is for the app, okay, if we split, and then we have a header, we have main, and we have item, so, and the footer. But for, this is a practice, okay? For a real project, your CSS will be more complicated. Then you have to split it by yourself. Find it and split, okay? So what I'm going to do, the first is here, I'm going to implement based on our process of CDD. First, I have to do what? Decomposition, right? Actually, what you can do is first you can do 0 step, which is make it this page works in your React. You can do also this one. So I'm going to do is first thing I'm going to is in my download to do page. I'm going to copy everything. Open with text. I'll open with Visual Studio Code. Okay. So this is in index HTML. As we know, this part is in our public index HTML. So we just need to copy everything under the root. Okay, root is here in our index HTML root. So don't copy everything under the root. Okay, so for entire thing, the first thing you just put here, cut and put it in your app component. You return whatever we return, we put it here. Okay, and then for our CSS, then we close this one. Then for our CSS, this is my CSS, right? And for all our CSS, I'll also open inside the Visual Studio Code. For our CSS code, copy, Control A, Command A, Command C, cut, put it in app.css. This is our first step. Pre-step, okay. We haven't go through this is also, and after we copy here, if you are using IntelliJ, it will automatically do what? For all the class, as we know, in function component, we cannot use class. We have to change use what? You have to change use class name. So you can replace, can do H, no, my bad. Copy, Control R, Control F, search. Which one is no, not H. I want to copy and replace. Oh, replace, directly call it. Our class, I will replace with the class name. So you will replace everything with class name for all the class. So we don't have errors for the class now, okay? And for the style, we also need to change. For the style, we have to use the syntax to apply style, okay? The syntax is like a 2 curly brace, like this way. And here need to have a quote display now. See here, I'm going to have this part and also have this part, okay? Like now, okay? Now we go to our, we already started the application, okay? Then we take a look at, does it look correct in our React now? So here, now this page, oh, see here, the style is not applied, doesn't look great in our React, right? It's because here I didn't import that app.css. Import app.css. After import, let's go back to our page. You will see exactly like my static files, okay? So this is the first step. Then you can go through composition, component decompilation, and also this part, okay? So I'm going to use 5 components to represent each part. So the red one is app, which is the entire. And for the enter task name, I'm going to put in another component called header. And in the center part, which is a list of a task, okay, I'm going to have a list, which is a to-do list. And for each of the item, okay, like x here, y here, I'm going to use item. And for the finished total this part, I'm going to use a footer, okay. So that's all the components I'm going to use. So then we are going to create another folder. I will say components, okay. And then you can do is create a folder. This one is a header, okay. Header, and we are going to have a list, and we are going to have a footer. And for the header, for each of them, gonna have a index.tsx, okay? And you can also have a index.css, which is for the CSS related to the header. And here, I'm going to have a index.tsx and also have a index.css. For the list, on the list, you can say, oh, I have an item. You can also create an item, okay, folder, and also have both of them. Or you can put an item outside, which is put an item with directly under the components. It's a choice, okay. So I'm just doing like this way because every time I write the code, I will do differently. So I'm here, I'm gonna have the index CSS. Why we use index? Because when we import for the folder, you will get the index by default. Okay, and here I'm going to have index.tsx and also have index.css. But it have something which not good is when we open here inside the IDE, you don't know. You have to take a look. Oh, which index I'm using, right? So here. Okay, I'm going to have RFC and not use index. Instead, I'm going to use a header. Okay, this is a header index. Okay, and then I'm going to import. Okay, which is index.css. Okay, this is for the header, and we'll do the same thing for this one, tsx, which is list. Here I'm going to have a list, and also here I'm going to import index.css. How about letting me put the item outside it? I'll put the item outside it. Okay, I'll put the item outside. Okay, I kind of like feel uncomfortable to put it there. I put the item outside. Then here RFC. I'm going to use this one called item, and I will also have import index.css. Okay, this is item. Last one is a list. Okay, list. No, last one is a footer. Footer I haven't done. A footer. Okay, here RFC. Here we'll have a footer. Okay, and then we will also import dash index.css. That's all. First step, which is split, which is this one. Split interfaces, extracting components. So we split have app, header, item, list, and footer. Now, second step is implement static component using component to achieve static pages. Okay, this one is talking about what? So here, so far, all our code is inside our app. We'll take a look at our app component a little bit. See here, inside the to-do container, we're gonna have a to-do wrap. This to-do wrap is what? This to-do wrap, I will have to-do wrap. For this part, to-do header is what? It should be put in the header. So what we do is for this part, we will cut and leave to our header. Where's my header? This is my header tsx. So we're gonna return from here. And after we have a header, okay, component, for our app.tsx, we're gonna import the header here. Header, this component, import it. Okay, and as you can see, we import on the header folder. Okay, this header. And now for this part, this URL part, see here. This part is what our main. Main is what? Main is a list. So I'm going to put this part, okay. Control X. I'm going to put it in my list, which return is what? Return this part. Okay. Then here inside our app, here I'm going to use what? List component. Okay, and as you can see here, this div, this part is what? Our footer. X. So we put our footer. This is our footer. We put it here. Then in our app.tsx, I'm going to have a footer. Okay, so now let's go back to our folder browser. We will see that it looks like exactly same as before, and we do have one more, which is in the list. In the list here, each li should be where? Each li should be in our item. Okay, so each li should be our item. We just need to keep one of them. Later on, we can do a loop and to have item. So here for this part, I'm going to put in my item first. Okay, in my item, Then I'm going to put it here. This is each of the item. Then in my list, I'm going to put my item here. So in this case, I should only have XXX. Okay, no YYY because I removed one. Later on here, we are going to do an iteration to get all the list here, right? So next thing we are going to do is what? Next thing we are going to do is a CSS. Okay, split the CSS to put in different places. So here, because we wrote, this is a very simple project, it's very clear, okay? So for this part is a header, we cut it and we put it in our header.css. Okay, header, this one, this is a header part. Okay. Okay, CSS for header, and then CSS for the main, which is a to-do main, which is for the list. You cut it, put it into the main. In real project, it could be more complicated, much more complicated. This is a list item one. Till here, list item one. Okay, then we put a list item. Oh, I put it in wrong place just now. Okay, that's a problem of the naming. This one should be in the main. Okay, which is in our list here. And then let me format it. Okay, I don't like if format is not good. And last one is our footer. We cut in our footer. And which footer index CSS. And as you can see now, our app only contains the basic. Okay, so not only the HTML is split now, also CSS is also splitted. Now we go to our browser. You can see. So in this case, we implemented what? We implemented the static pages, which is here. This step, okay. Now the last step is to add the dynamic. We display initial data. We interact with users. So this is our component compilation. Okay. We also split on the CSS. Now instead for the implement static components, make sure you change the difference between class and class names. Make sure you change the class to class names. And for the style, make sure you also change it because to match the JSX syntax. Okay. And this is one step by step to do. Okay, how you do it. Okay. Now we have to display the initial data, right? To display initial data, we have to think about where should we put the initial data. For us, the initial data is what? For us, the initial data is this to-do list. Let me close everything. Here in our list, here in our list, we're gonna display list items, which is the list items, right? Where to put them? Where to put this entire thing, for this list to-dos, okay, which is this to-dos, where to put them. Then you have to think about it. It has different ways to put it. You can put it in the list. You can put it in the app, okay. So the problem is where to put the to-dos. You can put it in the list. You can put it in the app. If we put it in list, it's going to have a problem. The problem is what? The problem is header. When I enter something into the header, I have to add into a list. Then in this case, you're gonna have the sibling communication, okay? Because the header and list is a sibling. Let's take a look at our inspect. Go to the components. So if I put the to-do list in the list, because see here, I have to render right in the list. Later on, when I enter what? Where is my footer? Oh, here, footer is here. When I enter a task, I have to add into a list. Header and list, they are what? They are siblings. So when we do the sibling communication, we have to lift the state app. So the better place to put a to-do list is put it in the app. Then you can, when add into a header, when a header to add, we can have a callback passed, right? And to-do list, we can pass props, okay, to pass into the to-do list, then you can render on the item. And also footer, to finished and total, you can also use the props, okay. So a better place for put a to-do list, we can use what? We can use we can put it in the app instead of in the list, okay. That is also the slides just shows, okay. I'll put it in the app. Next one is fetch data from server side. Here I'm going to use a JSON server, okay. JSON server can host a JSON which very fast. Let me see here to show you. GitHub JSON server. You can have a full fake RESTful application very quickly, okay. How to do it? Doesn't have a. It doesn't. You have to. You can give a db.json onto your root folder. Then you just run a JSON server. Okay. So let me do it. Here install JSON server. npm install JSON server. This is install. I'm going to install JSON server on my development mode because I don't need to for the production. Okay. Do I need to? It's fine. Okay. So here I'm going to install JSONP. Okay. So here to mimic, we have some default to-do list. Okay. So here I'm going to cd day 5 npm install. Okay. JSON server -save -dev. Takes a little bit long. After you install successfully, then you can do is under the project root, you can have a file called db.json, and then you can create some default task. And I'm going to do first, make sure you have it's an object. If you put an array here, it's gonna have a multiple JSON server being started. Okay, so I'm going to have a list, and it's an array. It must have double quotes. My bad. Okay. In IntelliJ, it will automatically add double quotes for me, but I'm here using real storehold. Here I'm going to have ID. ID is 1, and I have what I used before. ID and what? Let's call name. Okay, I don't have a good. Let's call name. Name. To do this name. Name is what I should do. Learn JS. Okay, first. Okay. Then here I have another ID. ID is 2. Then name. Learn TypeScript. Okay. And last two, I just added 3. Okay. ID is 3. ID is 3. Name is learn React. Okay. Just to have these 3. Okay. So here for this list, I have 3. Okay. 3 inside these to-dos. Okay, so now what you can do is you can start this JSON server. How to start? As this one says, npx JSON server db.json. So I'm going to do exactly same. This one, npx JSON server. Because we call db.json, that's why it's called db.json. That's why the file name is db.json. Okay, if you call another JSON file name, you use another one. What did I say? Just now, we had an issue, which when I run npx JSON db.json, it has this error. Okay. And I searched online. The reason is because of version. my version is 16.13 because I haven't used this laptop for at least 1 year. Okay, so my node is not being updated, and to use this npx this problem, you have to use at least 18 or something. Okay, anyway, just the version is too old. So what I did is I installed the latest version of Node. After install, I check the version. And then when I run npx JSON server, it's already, see here, it's already started my server, and my all my JSON, this list is using this link. I can access it. See here, I can get this collection. Okay, I can get this collection, so I can use to do as a default. Okay, so that is the problem, and we can also do a configuration. The configuration is in the package.json. We can do in the scripts here. In the scripts, you can also add one, which is called a serve. We can call serve. Okay, then we are going to execute what? npx JSON server db.json. Okay, do this one. npx JSON server db.json. So later on, I can do is npm serve. Instead, write npx JSON server db.json. Okay, so npm run serve, because serve is not a keyword. Okay, then you will see here, it's on 3000. It's all the default to-do list is here. Okay, so now when I have a default to-do list set up, and as we discussed earlier, we are going to put our state. Well, I'm going to put our state in our app. So here, I'm going to have a state which is using const to do set to do's. Okay, equals use state, and the state gonna have a type. By default is what? By default is a none. I don't have any. And but as we know here, we're going to have a type for the to-dos. Okay, so I'm going to have another file called types.ts. Okay, here I'm going to have interface to do. Okay, this is represent each of to do, and I'm going to have ID. ID is a number, and I'm going to have a name. Name is what? Name is a string. So here I'm going to have a type, which is I have to export. My bad. Okay, export this to do. Okay, and here I'm going to have a to do, and this no. So this is my state is maintained in the app. Okay, so as we know, when we start application, okay, we have to get the default. What's my default list? Default list is here. I have to get a default list and render on the page, right? Render on the page. Yeah, I don't have React. Oh, I started this one on 3000, and my default, this one also on 3000. Default one is also on 3000, which has a conflict. I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C, address. Okay. So my bad. Wait a minute for a second. So if you run npm start, see here, it has a default point. See here, because I already have something running on 3000 here. We already have something on 3000, and then do you want it run in another one? You type a yes. Okay. You can also change the settings, which is here on the package.json. You can npm start. You can also set the port number here. Okay. What's the port number? It just started. 3001. Okay, so this is my server, which has a list, and this is my 0. Okay, so here I'm going to do is when the application starts, I'm going to have the to-dos being populated with default, and we are going to use effect, okay, which is on the initial rendering. Use effect, gonna do is like this way, okay. So here I'm going to have an empty array, which is on initial rendering. I'm going to do what? I'm going to make a request to the server side. So here I'm going to have async. Since we haven't learned about XOS, I'm going to do, oh my bad. Here, for use effect, you cannot use async, okay? So here, what we can do is define a function. You can define a function here, or you can use async await, okay? You can use promise dot then dot catch. So I can do is define a function here. Fetch to-dos if I want to use async, okay? And here I'm going to have a fetch. Fetch what? Fetch that list. Okay. Fetch this list. I'm going to use await const response equals await. Okay. Last time when I use fetch, I mentioned that if the URL doesn't work, it won't go to the try catch, right? So you can do is if response dot is okay. It should have some. Let me check. Okay, I forgot. The response should have something. Dot okay. If it's okay, okay, then we will do, which is grab the data. If not okay, we can throw the errors. Okay, that's how you do. Last time when I show here, I changed the URL for the JSON placeholder. It doesn't go to the catch block. Okay, but you can do is in the response. You can check if it's okay or not. Is okay is a function or is what? Oh, it's Boolean, true or false here. Okay. Okay, then we can do is const what? Const data equals response await response.json. Okay, and after I get data, I can set to-dos to be what? To be this data. Okay, then you can also, if else, you can say set some error message or other things. Okay, here I don't want to continue. You can look at our previous demo, the fetch user to okay, handle for error. And you can also add a try catch block to handle other cases of error. Okay. Here I will do is through new error. Couldn't fetch default to-do list. So now I have my to-dos being set. Let's take a look at when I refresh the page. Okay, then I'm going to do inspect in my component. Here in the app, if it is successful, the state is none. Let's see, okay. Oh, I didn't call it, guys. See here, I have this function, right? Which is async function, but I didn't call it. That's why it's a none still. Okay, so use effect. You make a call to this fetch to do. Okay, see here, to this fetch to do. Okay, it's better here you use callback because this fetch to do doesn't need to create every time. Okay, here we can do is here have a use callback. Like this way. So here use callback. Wait a minute for a second. Okay, here let me see if I can have this async here and just do it. Okay, depths we don't have any dependencies. Okay, depths we don't have any dependencies. So later on when we render app, this one, if it's different, it won't regenerate one. Okay, so let's take a look at it here. Refresh our header. as you can see, our state already have a collection of to-dos. See here. I have a state, have a collection of to-dos, okay? So this is the first part, which I have my default to-dos is being populated, okay? I have my type, I have my data. Now, next thing is what? Next thing is we have to render on the list, right? So here we have our state, how to pass into a list. Use props, right? You can say to-dos equals what? To-dos. You can pass here. So inside of my list, I will have a props, okay? Props is to-dos, okay? To-dos. The type is what? My bad. The type to-dos, the type is what? The type is a to-do array, okay? So I do destruction, everything at the same time. So now here, to-dos, okay? To-dos, to-dos, to-dos. Hey, why have error? Let's see, take a look at. Oh, type to do is not assignable to do. Oh, here should it be to do array? My bad. Okay, here should be to do array. Because here I use to do. The type is a single to do. There should be to do array or none. Okay, so here to do's, and I think it's a type now to do array or none. So potentially this one, I'm going to have a. It could be to do or not, like this way. Then the type down matches, because here, if you want to avoid those none, what you can do is here to give this is empty array, so you don't need to deal with those none. You know, here, see here, no need to have none here. Here you can also get rid of this none. Yeah, because otherwise it's empty array. Otherwise, if you use a none here, lots of places you have to deal with a none, which using question mark or the thing. Okay, so now for this part, it's very clear. What I do is do a map to do's dot map, and for the map we are going to get what's thing each of the to do. Okay, then we are going to render this item. And what we can do is spread. You can pass to do equals to do. You can do like this way. Then in my item, I will accept a object to do. The type is what? The type is to do. The type is each single to do. Okay, so once I get it to do, so for here I will have what? To do dot name. You got me? And as also here we need to have a key. Key is what? Key is to do dot id. Okay, so now let's go to our browser. We will see now we have learning JS, learning TypeScript and React. And in my console, I don't have any. Let's refresh. Okay, in my console, there's no errors, and we have a dynamic default data which is being implemented like this way. There's another way to do this part. If you don't like this one, you can also do like this way. Here you can do like this way, which is spread this to do. When we spread inside here, it's not like you are going to have ID and name directly. And so here the type I'm going to do separate. Here the type should be to do. And then you don't need to have like this way. You can just directly give name. Here is another way to do that. See here. You get the same exact thing, and you will see this spread being used a lot in React instead of this one. It's a choice of both of networks. This one will directly give you ID equals ID, name equals name. Okay, and for this one you pass entire to do. For this one you spread each of the property inside the to do. So this is our first kind of like, I don't know count how which step, okay, but anyway, we already achieved which this one, this part works. Next one we will do this one, okay. What we have done so far is we dynamically initial the data, display the initial data dynamically using the JSON server, which is this dependency, okay. You can add in the dev server to host the default ones, as we mentioned earlier. Then we also decided to put our to-dos inside the app because it's easier for us to pass the data around, which are communicated between header, first, a list, and a footer. These three components, okay. So the next feature we are trying to do is to add a new to-do. So the to-do list resides in the app component, which is here, and the other to-do is in the header, this one. So we require method to transmit the values from header to header component to app component. In this case, because when the user enters the data, it's in the header, we have to pass the data to save into these to-dos, right? So the communication we are having here is a child to parent, which is from child to parent, okay? So we needed to have what? Between a header is parent child, but data is in header. So we have to pass data from child to parent. And how to do it? Let's think about it. Let's go to our code and to implement it, okay? So first we are going to our, not a list, now we are going to our header. Okay, let me close most of them and open. And here we have input. Now, how to get the values of this input? It have two ways, as we mentioned earlier. First way is controlled component, which means here I have a state. Okay, the other way is using ref, okay, to do. So here I'm going to use the controlled component, which is listening for the change. Okay, so here I'm going to have what's the name? To do. Set to do. By default, I can use state. We can do another one later, which is empty string, okay. And as we know here, we will have a value. Value is what? Value is to do. And we also need to have what? I'm going to do like this way, okay. So it's going, because we're gonna have multiple changes. Like this one, multiple attributes, sorry, not the changes, okay. So we're gonna have onChange, which is whenever my the value is changed, I'm going to automatically set to the place. So we can do is here, either you can do like this way, or you have another method, okay, set to do, and this to do will be e.target.value. And by doing that, my bad. By doing that, we can start our application now. You will see whenever I type something, and this to-do will have the data. This is to-do, single to-do, okay. It's a little bit slow. Oh, I have to start it on another port number. Let me, because we also need to, here, they don't have a default, right? We have to start our server also. So I'm going to come. Then I have to open another one. Here I already have another one, my bad. Here I already have another, which is this one. This one is to what? This one to start our JSON server, okay. So I'm going to run npm run serve, which is here. This one, okay. npm run serve, and this is going to be on 3000, and our port number gonna be changed. npm start. You can also set a port number manually inside the React start, okay. Yes. going to be 3001. Okay, and we have a default. And now I'm going to open my component developer tool, which is a component. What it is? Where's my component? Here already. Okay, so in the header, I have a state which is for the to do. So now whenever I type something, you will see I get the values, right? So this is the first part. Second part is what? Second part is how I'm going to add this into this list is when I press enter. Suppose I have a learn something, okay? When I type enter, it will automatically it will add into the to-dos, which is displayed here also. So then I have to know when I press this enter, right? When the keyboard is enter, okay? So here we can attach another event. We can call on key up. Key up, you can also have key down, but key down will have some problem. We can do a test, okay? There's one case, if I remember correctly, because this is a demo I did a long time ago. So let's do key up first, and when we change to be key down, okay? So here I will do is, I will just say key up handler, okay? Handler, okay? Then let's use the camel for this one. And here I'm going to create a key app handler. Okay, and equals. I need to have this one. So here, let's take a look at, we will get an event, okay, which is HTML, which is a key, do I have key up event, which is mouse event, okay. Do I have key event, keyboard event, okay. And this is on HTML input element, okay. This keyboard event should be imported from here. Keyboard event. Do I have? Yes. Okay. So we'll get e.key console.log e.key. And this key, if I press enter, you will see it have a showing its enter. Okay. So now refresh, and I'm going to our console. Here, let's take a look at. If I type A, B, C, and press enter, it will call enter. So I can do a checking, okay? If it's enter, I'm going to do something. If e.key is equal to enter, then inside here, I can do what? Inside here, I can do set, the to-do is set into to-do, add into to-do list, add the to-do to to-do list, right? Okay, this is what we do. And we also need to check is what? If a to-do now is empty, then you click enter, what you're gonna do, right? If a to-do is, this to-do is empty, then you probably will do some checkings when we place enter. So here, I will have a checking here. If to-do dot trim is empty, okay, then I will do a checking is what kind of thing should I say? I will just say alert, okay. To do cannot be empty, okay. Then I will do is add this to do, which is here. Add this to do into where? Into this to-dos, okay? So how can I add? Now we have to pass data from header to the app. And the relationship from header to the app is what? Is child to parent. As we mentioned earlier, we have to use what? We have to use a callback. So here, we can do is here on add to do. On add to do is what? On add to do, we can create a function. Okay, we can add. Let's create a function. The function I'm going to put it here. Okay, const add new add to do. So you give me what? You give me new to do. Okay, you give me new to do, which is a to do. Yeah, the type is a to do. Type is a string, and I will do what? I will add into these to dos, right? So I'm going to, as we mentioned earlier, we have to use what? We have to use a spread. This is because what? This is because React doesn't do deep comparison. Okay, to dos, these are default ones. Then you give new one, add at the end. Oh, to do cannot be a string. Okay, to do should be an object. To do object. Okay. Or what you're gonna do? You give me string is fine. Okay. Here I'm going to generate what? ID is something, and name is what? To do. Also fine. So what is ID? So we will do very simple one first. I will using to do start length +1. Okay. It's going to have problem, okay, but we will first make it work. Then for this add to do, I'm going to pass to where? To the header. Okay, I'm going to call on add to do, and here we'll pass this add to do there. Okay, and then in the header, I'm going to have a props. The props is called on add to do. Okay, let me check. It's better to copy paste to make sure there's no typo error. Okay, typo. Then it's on add to, we can have a props type here, and I'm going to define a type props type equals to what? Equals to here. This is the signature of the typing, and return void, and the key is what? The key is on add to do, like this way. So now here no error because I have attribute here. Okay, on add to do, the type is a function. Okay, so now I can do what? Now I can do is on add to do. Okay, on add to do what? Give what? Give the to do. Right? So give to do. Now we can do one more thing, is set it to do to be what? We can set it to be empty. So once you add, it's gonna be empty. So now let's do one more time. So here I will type node. Okay, enter. To do cannot be empty. Why is empty? Let's see. It has some errors. No problem. We can take a look at. Still is node. So which one is to do the trim? Is trim? Oh, this one is true, right? I have to not. Okay, trim. We should switch. The if else condition is wrong. Trim should be which is not true is true. I should do like this way. Okay, and then this alert should be here. Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, if it has value, okay, then you should do like this way. So here one more time. Okay, when node enter, we'll see node being added. Okay, and this one is clear. So if I type empty and enter, you will see cannot be empty. Okay, see here, empty. Let's have one. Okay, one empty. Then enter. Okay, and let's just have enter, cannot be empty. Okay, and we can also try what? We can also try have an empty space, have a JS. Okay, then enter. Okay, so here you want, but here have space. It's better you also do it's better we do a trim. Okay, also here to do dot trim. So you want to have that empty space in the front and in the end. So that's how we doing so far for add to do. Okay, and let me demonstrate. Here I'm using key up, right? Key up, like enter. Cannot be empty. Yes, it's empty. Let's have a key down. What's going to happen? Probably I'm not very sure now. Let's try. Okay, here I use key up. I'm going to use key down. Okay, see if it still works the same. I forgot what I did previously. Okay, so now hello, enter works. Okay, enter cannot be empty. Enter. Okay. No, still works. Okay, JJFF also works. Okay, so for this one, key down, key up seems no difference. I forgot what I did previously. Okay, I couldn't remember. One of them doesn't work. I will keep to key up. Okay, because the handler name is called key up. Seems no difference. Okay, after I test, seems fine. Okay. Probably I use ref or something. I just couldn't remember. You can try other way to make sure to see if it works. Okay. So next thing I'm going to refactor is this one. Here the length is +1. It's going to have problem if we remove. Okay. When we remove have a feature which will remove the to-dos. Potentially you will have a two ID with the same two to-do with the same ID. So another way we can do is using UUID to generate. What you can do, it has a two. Okay, let me show you. It has a UUID you can use. Okay, UUID. Okay, there's one UUID. You can use it. Okay, so like this way we can install and try. This is one. Like I'm going to install with another. So okay, CD day 5. npm install UUID. Let me check if it's correct. Okay, npm install UUID. Okay, so here you can enter. Okay, we have UUID already. Okay, so here then we can follow the instruction like here import this one from UUID. So we import here. I'm going to import from here. I'm going to this one. I'm going to put it at the last. Okay. So how I organize my imports. This is a third party or built-in. This is my own. Then this is images or CSS. Okay, that's how I do. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, so here then I can call UUID v4. Call this function to get a UUID, but it's going to have problem. The problem is what are the types. Because the type here we are giving is a number. You can do is all string. UUID is a string. Okay, then no errors. Then no errors, and later on when we add here, we go to the app. Here is our state for all the IDs. Now I will add another one, learn node.js. Okay, enter. You will see this one is a UUID now. Okay, so it's gonna be guaranteed unique, even though later on when we delete the delete these to-dos, it won't also have problem. There's another one which is shorter version called the nano ID. You can also use. This is shorter version of UUID. Okay, you can doesn't this one is not doesn't have install. Let me see if I can install GitHub. Let us see here. Okay, nano ID. That's the npm install like this one. npm install nano ID. I will do this one, then install this one to show you different ways to generate a unique ID. Okay, so here I'm going to install, paste, install nano ID. Install successfully. Okay, then we can use it. How to use it? We can use import nano ID like this way. And then here we can import nano ID. Try just different ways. Okay. And let's see. Forgot to import import nano ID. Okay, then you can use what? Nano ID. It's gonna be shorter version of UUID. Nano ID, like this way. And let's try one more time. Like learn node.js. Okay, and let's go to the app. You are going to have what? You already see here the key. See here, key, the ID. This is a shorter version of UUID. Anyway, still unique. Just use the one you like. Okay. So by doing so, we finish this version of add into the to-do list. Okay. If interesting, you can also replace this one with what? With REF, which is use REF to do that. Let me see. Since we are doing it, let's review how to do it. Okay. Control C, Control V. I'm going to use this one, the -1. Okay, -1, which is what thing? Use controlled. Okay, and this one is original, being used inside the app. Okay, inside the app, which the header. Okay. And I'm going to do is for this one, I'm going to change it to use REF. So I'm going to remove this one, and for all of them, let me comment first. And here we can no value, no unchange. Instead here, I'm going to create a const input REF equals use REF. Okay. And the type is HTML input sorry, my bad. HTML input element, and here I will give default value is none. Okay, and then here we'll have REF. REF is what? REF is that input REF. So I'm still using key app, so it will still get a key enter. Let's see. Okay. Let me also console log the e. Yes, still have key console log e. So here I'm using REF. So learn node.js, and in the app you won't have a in the header we don't have a state now. Instead we have REF, right? So here inside this one we will also check. First we'll check const what? Const value. Value equals to what? To do. To do equals to what? To do will be equals to input REF dot current dot value. Yeah. Value, and this potentially can be none. So here I'm going to use a question mark. Get it? Okay. And we can also do a what? Do a trim. Okay. Trim. Like this way. So then we can do this if else condition also. Okay. If turn on, if this to do no need to be to trim again. If this to do is not empty, I'm going to add this unadded to do add here. Then I'm going to have what's thing? Input REF dot current dot value equals empty. We set it to be empty. This okay. Make sure it exists. Otherwise cannot be. Otherwise cannot be empty. Which means when it is empty. Okay. So now let's see if it works. This is use REF. You don't need to have the unchanged thing because this one going to hold everything, all the values for the REF. Then let's learn node.js. Enter. We'll have learn node.js here in my app. We'll see a new entry is being added. So let's test for empty. Click enter. You will see cannot be empty. Okay. Empty cannot be empty. Enter. And I have hello. It's not empty. So I say hello here, right? So seems everything works. Yeah, it works as usual. Okay. And we can try also here. Instead of on key up, we have a key down. See if it happened the issue. Okay. I facing before. Enter. Oh, good. Space, space. Enter. Good. And hello. Enter. Good. Okay. Learn. Node.js. Good. So it also works. So I don't know what happened when previously when I use is it this one or now when I use key down doesn't work. Okay, I forgot which scenario. Now I couldn't remember. But anyway, here we show you another way is using the ref. You can also achieve exactly the same thing. Okay. And when we key is enter, we will get the value. Then we will call the onset, and we set it to be value to be empty. Then otherwise, if it have if it doesn't if it's empty string, then I will say cannot be empty. Okay. So now we finish what our enter. Okay. But for our enter, it's in memory, still in memory, because if I refresh page, okay, it's done to anything. If you want to connect to the database, we can, after we learn XOS, we can connect to our server side to do, okay? Like this, okay, good. The next task, let's take a look at our slide, okay? Update state when check or uncheck to do done. This one to do what? See, later, our feature is what? When I click, it is, and when I delete finish task, not all of them, it can be some of them. Okay, suppose I click this one. Okay, and when I click delete finish task, it should be remove these two from the to-dos. Okay, so now how can I represent this one is being checked or not, which this one is being checked or not, and later on when I click this delete, it's going to be deleted, right? How can I do it? Then we can have a new field inside to do, which represent it's being done or not done. And here we are going to have here we have a done boolean true or false. Okay, by default we can have let me which one? This one. Okay, so here this have error because it asks to have true done equals false. Okay, then no error, and we still see the same. And in our JSON string we can have some default. Suppose we can just have default all done is what? Yes, false. Okay, I'm going to have all of them is false, which by default they are all not done. Okay, and now next thing is when I click, it will change what? It will change to be done, right? How can we do it? So here, inside our item, here we have a checkbox. Okay, checkbox is where in the item. Item is where item is rendered inside is a child of a list. And the to-do is where? The to-do is inside my app. So which means the done or not done should be changed in the to-dos. Okay, so now we are facing the same issue because the action is where? The action is the item. So where to change the to-do is inside item. Now we have to send the data from item to app. Still is child to parent. We still need to do what? We have to make a function inside the app as we did before, okay? Then pass to here. So once we check or not, once we change the checkbox, it will trigger the changes inside the to-dos, right? First thing here I'm going to do is, since I have to do, I can also get what? I also get it done. Okay, then here I'm going to have a value. Value is what? Value is done. Not a value is done. Checkbox is checked or not checked. Okay, checked is done. Okay, now let's see. See here, not checked. Okay, now if I give a default one, which this one is true, learn.js. Okay, is true. Then we go here, refresh. You will see it's automatically is checked. Here we may see error. See here. What does it say? You provide a checked props to a form field without unchanged handler. It will render as only read-only field. If the field should be mutable, use default check or set it either unchanged or read-only. This one is what? See here, when I have value, but I didn't have unchanged, you cannot uncheck it. See here. You cannot uncheck it anymore. That's the warning to you. Either you use default check or have unchanged. With default check, you can change it, but it doesn't change the behavior. It can change the behavior. See here. I use default checked. Okay. Now, when I refresh, you don't have this warning. You can also uncheck. But later on, we need to update the status inside inside app, right? We need to get a value. So later on, if I change the value, the default check still is always a true or always a false. So we need this one to be what? To be checked. And he said, oh, you need to have what? You need to have unchanged. Unchanged to do what? Unchanged is to change the data. Okay. We can do is here, we can have a state. Const, we can have a flag. This one seems a good idea. Seems not a work. We can do done. Set it down. Use state. Oh, we have two down here. Let's use a flag. Okay. Use state. Which is done. This one, default is this one, right? Then I change the flag, but here now should be flag, not a done anymore, okay? Then I can do is unchange. Unchange, I will change this one to be set flag, to be what? To be not flag, which is not the previous one, okay? Then I also, now let's take a look at this thing. Here we can use our component and use this item. I will do the first one, okay? So done is true. One, this props, we'll take a state. State by default true. Yes, true. Now when I uncheck, it's false. Check, true. Uncheck, false. Uncheck, true. It works, right? Which basically I got when it's true, when it's false. But now I have to tell what? I also need to tell about the set. I have to tell this one. Say this one. Okay, so here now let's do how can I tell for change on here, how to do it. Then I have a update to do. You give what? You give me new to do. I will give a new no, this one is to do. Okay, this one. Okay, then I'm going to do is set. I'm going to do how can I change it. One way to update to do is you remove the because we cannot directly to make a change on the original to do. This is should be immutable, right? And one way we can do filter. After we filter, then we push the one and we replace. We push it into it. Then we do it, which means one way is can do like this way. Okay, which is const what's the I don't fine, it's fine. Const, which is a filter, right? Const new to do, new to do's equals to do's dot filter. Okay, filter by what? For all the to do. td, okay. I don't want to use same name. I want to refer to this one. td.id not equals to to-do.id. You got me? And then we can do what? We can do is new to-dos dot push. Push what? Push this to-do there. We got a new one. Then we set a to-dos to be what? To be this new to-dos. But this is going to have a problem. The problem is the order will be changed. See here. Then we pass this one update to do to this list. Unfortunately, update to do equals the value is 1 because we have to pass to the item. Okay. Update to do. Then we go to list. That is the prop streamline as we mentioned. So here I have to have this one. Now for this part, I'm going to make a type. Otherwise, it's going to be large. Okay. Props type. Here I will have a type. Props type. Yeah. Props type equals this one, and then like this one. And we will do here. We have a update to do. And this one will become, the type is what? The type is this part. And return nothing, so it's gonna become void. Okay. And we will also do exactly same for what? For this item passed there. So I'm going to have update to do equals. You can use a tag, you can use a context to do that. Okay. So it's going to be update to do like this way. And then for the item, I also need to have this one inside. Oh, I don't have here the type. I don't have, so I'm going to have this type props type. Here I'm going to have a ID as a number or string. I'm going to have a name is a string. I'm going to have a down is a boolean, and we also need to have this part. I have something which is not necessary here. Okay, then here I'm going to have a props type, and then here I can have updated to do. Okay, so when should I call updated to do? Is when I make a change on this checkbox, right? So by doing that, then I don't need to have this const, because I can directly call this function, give the new data. So I can do what? I can do, which is updated to do. I have to give a to do here. Okay, I have to give a to do, which the to do will have what? ID, name, but done is what? Done attribute is what? Done attribute is not done, because previously we are done. Now we change to be not done. So by doing that, I don't need to have this flag. Oh, you can keep this flag. Okay, it's not necessary. So now let's take a look at the thing. App. This is our state. I only deal for this one, which is the first one. Okay. Now by default is true. When I uncheck, you will see the first one is what? The first one is this one, right? You will see it's being false. But as I mentioned earlier, when I check the TypeScript, okay, TypeScript, it becomes true. You will see the problem as we implement it, because I use a filter. After a filter, I push, the order is going to be changed. So what can do is not doing like this way, okay? We can do is you can use what? We can use is find index, find it, okay? So const index equals todos dot find index, okay? Find index, which will find the TD, okay? TD dot ID equal to the same one, to do, or what's it? To do dot ID. Then we can use Todos dot we can use like index equals what? To do. Okay. Then we can do is here spread, because you want to have a new object, right? Todos. Because this one is these two statement is changed on the original data. If I directly set to do, it doesn't work, so I have to spread. This is one way. Okay. Now let's see if we can make it work. Okay, so here now change. Okay, the order didn't change, and here you can see here become false. And learn TypeScript. This one become true. TypeScript and unchange. It become false. So now my state is being changed, right? Let's summarize what we have done. Okay, you may have other ways. So eventually, our change should be on this to-dos. I want to change the one of the to-dos to be true or false, true or false. So, and as we know, the relationship is a child to parent. Okay, so we will have a callback function. Here depends. You can just give ID and the done or not done, right? Here I decided to give entire object, and here you also have many ways to do. Okay, this is one of the way I can think about it now. Okay, you can also just use a find, then you replace it, then I spread to make sure the React know I'm making a change on the to-dos now. Okay. And I just use props because it's just a 2 level. I feel it's fine. But if you want to use context, it's your choice. Okay. So on the list, I have updated to do. And here on updated to do is what defined here. Okay. But list is not the place to use it. Instead, is the item need to use this but updated to do. So item gonna have this one. Then on this updated to do, what I'm going to do? I'm going to is for by default it's a checked, is a done, which is done from the state. Okay, and whenever I want to change, I will make a change to the apps to do's. Okay, whenever I make a change, I'll make a change here. So I keep one single source of the truth, which is always maintain the state inside the app. Okay, in our item here, because here I expect to be an object. That's why here I have an object ID name. Done is to be the opposite of the current value. Okay, so we have done this part. So now we have done this part. See here, when I click, all of them is being changed. True. Okay. So before I implement the finished this one, I can do is here have a delete button. Let me see my next task. Okay. Delete hover to do. Okay, this one. This is the one we are talking about. Which here, do you see here? Here I have style none. If I comment this one, delete this one, you will see here have a delete button. But this button is only when we hover it will show. By default, it doesn't show it. We can do, if I keep this part here, it will always to be none. See here. Only when if I hover, it should show it. So how to fix it? We can do it inside the CSS, which the one. Let me see the style. Okay, it's on the button, right? So I'm going to do is delete. Then I'm going to CSS is this item. Yes, I can do is for this one. Okay. Display none. Okay, then I can have a li button hover, then display block. Okay, let's see. Let's refresh. Oh, by default is not none. Let me take a look at the not speaking. Okay, inspect here. Li button have a BTN danger, but here I should have a oh, this I have .btn has a higher priority. So I'm going to change, because here also have a .btn, which is from the CSS, from not a CSS, from where from Bootstrap. Okay, so I'm going to make a change here. li.btn, which is by default is display none. Okay, and then I have li.btn hover display block. Okay, like this way. Now let's see. Like now, wait, hover. btn can hover, so I'll do like this way, hover. Let's see if this way is okay. Oh, now works. Okay, btn can hover, cannot hover. I have to hover on the li. So now we just have a display now, because in Bootstrap this btn have a display inline block. So then I do li hover li, the btn inside the hover display block. So now by default it's not here, but when I hover you will see a delete button. The next thing is we have to do, which is when I click this button, it should be remove this learn.js from the to-do list. Now let's see how to do it. So the delete button as well. Delete button is here. We will do, as you can see, the action as well. Action is in the child. The child is the place we control the data. So we have to pass the, when we click delete, we have to change the state inside the app, right? So still is a child to parent. So we have to use what? We have to use a callback function, okay? Delete to do. Here, delete to do is a choice. You can give just the ID. ID type is a number or string. Okay. Then we can do a delete. How to do a delete? We can do it like a similar like this one, which is a find index. Okay. Find this index, but here is directly ID. Once I find the index for the original to-dos, I can do a splice. Splice based on index and minus and 1, which is a splice only 1. Then we can set to-dos. Okay. If you are not familiar with splice, you can take a look by yourself. Okay. Then I spread to-dos. Oh, this is one way. Another way, you can do a filter, which is this is one way. Let's finish this one first, then we can do another way. Okay. Then as we mentioned, as we did before, here we also need to pass it one by one on delete what thing to do. Okay. On delete on delete to do. It's fine, just one more. Okay. So here in the list, here I have to add delete. The type would be this part, and with a void because nothing being returned. Okay. And we also need to pass the thing to our item. Okay. I can do it like this way, this way, this way, and this way. So it has more space. Here I had a mistake. More space. Okay, so I'm going to also add this part inside our item. Okay, here we have one more, and then I can have on delete to do. So now my list. Where's my list? Oh, here, list. And delete to do. Oh, this one I forgot to destruction assignment from here. Okay, then on my item I have this on delete to do. So here I have to do what? On click. When on click, I just call what? I just call delete to do. Delete to do need to give what? Need to give this ID. Okay, I'll give ID because this ID is what? This ID is this ID. Okay, so now let's take a look at if it works. Refresh, delete, delete, delete. Right, all of them is being deleted. And in my component, in my app, you will see the state now is empty. Okay, but if I refresh, it should be there. Okay, because it's it's in memory. Just delete on the state, and when I refresh, they will get it default once. Okay, so but anyway, it works. Okay, then we can do a second way, which here you don't like. If you don't like a splice, you can also do what? You can also do be filter. Then here Todos dot filter. Fi filter by TD. TD dot ID not equal to ID. Okay. Then we will set Todos to be filtered because the filter will give you a new array to you. It doesn't work on the original. So this one is simpler, right? Then let's see. Then delete, delete, delete. Okay, so still same. But this one is much simpler when filtered. You can also make it to be one line. To be look like this way, just one line. Much simpler than this version. Anyway, they are doing the similar thing. They are doing the same thing, okay. But this one is more efficient because this one work on the original one. You still do a spread, okay. Anyway, let's take a look at here. It works, okay. So last step is what? Last step task we are remaining is these two, okay, the footer, okay. We are done all the header, we are done everything in the list now. Last one is here in the footer part. So let me close most of them and we will go to our footer, okay. List down, we only need to have app and the footer. So footer finished is what? Finished, I just need to count how many the to-dos, how many is done is true, right? Total, I need to count how many in total, which is length of to-dos. So by doing that, it's better to pass what to-dos to the footer. You can also pass each data, but I prefer to pass entire to-do into this footer so I can use it here. So now I'm going to do is here for the footer, I'm going to pass a to-dos as a property because now it's a parent to child, okay. So here I'm going to have a to-dos and the type to-dos is to-do array, okay. Here I have to import, okay, to do import, okay, to do array, okay. So now the total is what? Total would be to-dos dot length. This one is simple, right? So I'm going to here. Now we have 3. Suppose I add one more, learn node.js, okay. Hello, you will have 5 automatically being changed, right? So finished is what? Finished for so far should have 1. And if I click one more, it should have 2, right? Which is we count how many the values is what? The length of the done is true, okay? So we can do is, we can have a to-dos dot filter. Filter by what? If TD, okay, TD dot done is true, and by default you can do true, okay, or you can just directly do like this one is true. Then I will do, this is array, and I will do a length, okay. When TD length is TD dot done is true, which is a to do, the done is true, I count the length. See, this is 1, okay, 1, and when I click this one, you have 2, click this one, 3, okay. This is how it works, okay. Click this one, 3. Next one, this one is easy. We will do this one first. So the case is what? When I click this one, okay. Oh, the case is what? The case is when I check when the total is the same. This one should be automatically checked, okay? And when I check this one, it will also automatically check here everything. So when is this one being checked? Is when the total length is the same. Here should be automatically checked. Okay, and if they are not the same, I should not have this one. You can also, when I check this one, it also will check everything. Okay, so here we can do is first checked going to happen what? Checked is going to happen when is being checked? When this length finish the length, okay, is equal to do dot length, like this way. Let's see if it's checked. Let's see. This one not checked, right? Click. You see, it's automatically checked. But here has a problem. The problem is like this way. See here, when it's both are 0, they are the same, but it's checked. We should not check it. So we will also add the condition and to do dot length not equal to 0. So here, not okay. Nah, not checked. Checked. Okay. But here I have error. Okay, we will fix it later. But now when remove this is finished, right? So next thing is what thing? If I click this one, it should automatically check everything, right? If I uncheck it, if by default, if here checked is a false, I should make sure all of them is checked. And if I check again, it should be uncheck everything. This is because here also have error. This same error you will see before. This is because here I add checked, but I don't have what? I don't have a unchanged event touched. Okay, this one doesn't work, okay, because eventually we want to get a value. So I have unchanged. Otherwise, read only. You can see I cannot do anything. So next thing is, if I click this one, I should check everything. How to do it? Then we'll do then here this one is pretty long. I have to have a unchanged event. Okay, here I'm going to create a function. Okay, I just say call change handler. Okay, my bad, I forgot to give a variable. I have to have a const. We'll give the value is what? We'll give the value is event. Okay, here have E. The type is a change event, and the type is what? HTML input element. Okay, and inside here we can get target dot value. Let me see. Okay, const console.log E dot target dot value. We can you get it checked or use checked? I do have checked or true or false. See, okay. See here, checked true. Checked, it's always true. Why it's always true? Checked true, but if I check again, it's always true. Let me see the value. Okay. E dot target dot value. Why it is always true? That is interesting. But I guess checked on. It's always this one. Okay. Because I didn't change the value. That's the reason. Because I never changed the value. Here I should set a value, okay? Because here I should set a value. So I'm going to just make a change. So when I unchange, I should change the to-dos here. Change all the to-dos either to be all true or either to be all false, right? So what I can do is here I will create a new function called update to do all at once. Okay, here I will give checked. Okay, this one will be true or false, boolean, because it's updated everything, right? So I'm going to do is to do's const updated equals to do's dot map. Okay, map I will get each of to do, and for each of to do dot done I will change to be checked. Okay, no, compare equals checked. Then I will set to do's to be the updated. No, updated. So I just do like this one. Map. Huh? Yeah. Updated. Boolean array is not assigned to here to do, then return to do. I have to return to do. Okay, I have to return it. Then here have updated. What to say? To do map. What filter, right? Filter map is change one thing to be another thing, right? Okay, if not I can do like this way. ID yes td dot id, name yes td dot name, then done is equals to checked. Okay, so now return this object. Why that one don't work? I return the to do. Okay, td, I return td. I think I did it wrong just now. Let me hide the copy of this one. Okay, then I revert back what I wrote in the map. Return to do should be return td. Okay, so return td should be no errors. Okay, I forgot, it shouldn't be return to do's. Okay, return td. And for this one, previously I didn't return, so it has errors. Okay, so now or you can do like this way, one by one, each way you like. Okay, so I just do like this one. So here updated. Let's take a look at if it works. I'm going to have a here. I have to pass this updated all to updated to do all to where? To the footer, to that checkbox, right? So here, and to follow the convention, I will call the on. And then in the footer here, I'm going to have a footer. Then inside here, I'm going to have this one, and for this one, it's going to be the syntax. It's all very long now. Okay, it's very long now. Yes, void. Okay, like this. You can make this one to be a props. Okay, otherwise it's pretty long. Then here on click, I will call what? On click, I can call this update. On click, I will call this change handler. My bad. Okay, change handler. No. Why is no? It's on click. What I'm doing? It's on click is already there. Okay, so the check is already there. So here I'm going to do is update all. And here I will give e.target.checked, okay? And we can also check this one if I get this checked value. Console.log checked, and then checked. Okay, see if I can get a true or false different value. Okay, so now see, we create a function inside the app. We pass as a callback to our footer. In the footer, when I click this checkbox, it unchanged, it will call the change handler. In change handler, I can do update all. Okay, so let's see if it works now. We shouldn't have an error. When I check, true, uncheck, false. See, works now, right? Great, perfect. Okay, so now when I click, works. When I unclick. Okay, when I delete, they are all not checked. Okay, so now refresh, go back to see, checked, unchecked, checked, unchecked. Okay, so also works. Great. I'm going to remove those console log, not needed anymore. Okay, and the last task is what? Last thing we are going to do is when I click this button, delete finish task, it should delete everything. Okay, so this one is also easy. We can just make a function here. Here, const delete. Still okay. The action is inside the footer. The data is in the app, so it's a child to parent. We still will use a callback, which is delete finished. Finish, finished to-dos. Okay, and here you don't need to give me any data. What I'm going to do is set to-dos and only leave what? Only leave to-dos dot filter. Filter by what? Filter when current TD. The done is true, and if not done, I'm going to leave it here. Okay, when done is true, delete. Okay, and still this thing I'm going to give to my footer, and I'll make this one to have delete. Okay, and for this one still need to pass to here. So here I'm going to have delete finish to do. This one is going to be long, so I'm going to use types. Okay, define a type called props type. Okay, then here I'm going to have a const props type equals to what? Equals what we have just now, and here to do it should be semicolon, and then here we have one more, and we also have this delete finish to do. The type is what? The type is nothing to pass. This one, just return void. Hey, oh, not a const, should be type. My bad. Okay, type. Okay, so here, delete finish to do, we just call it. When I click, okay, pass it here. That's it. Because here needed to function reference. Function reference, so when I click this button, it will call this one. This one will refer to this one, which delete all the, we do a filter. Filter by the done is not a none. Because the done is true, we have to delete it, right? So here, delete, finished, delete. If I click all of them, delete finished, all of them. So here, now we can add learn node.js, okay? So if I deleted two of them, you will see finish two, so both of them gonna be deleted. If I click everything, delete, gonna be deleted. So now we finish this small exercise workshop, which is about changing on the to-dos, okay? You may have other ways to do it. It's your choice, okay? Just make it work. And for here, I all use the props, okay? For this one, if you don't like props, you can also use publish subscriber if you want. Okay, if you use publish subscriber, you can keep the list inside the list folder. You can keep this list, the to-dos inside the where? inside this list for list component. Okay, then you can publish subscriber. You can also do what? You can also use the context. But I feel the props here is the easiest because this one is a small project. Okay. I think this one this is the last slides. Okay. So that's it for this video. I hope you gain something, okay? Because when I do the recording, I'm kind of like speak to myself. So sometimes there's no interaction. I don't know how you guys going to respond to this video. Anyway, you can leave a message if you like. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time. Bye bye.